Anchored by the performance and reliability of the Civic and Accord, Honda has once again been named the best car brand for the 4th year running by U.S. News & World Report. Come see the lineup of award-winning Hondas at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Seagate Lane.
Good morning. It's 7:03 here on a Thursday morning. We are, of course, following the national developing headlines right now. The helicopter and plane crash there in D.C. And the nation's capital, there's a live press conference going on right now that you'll catch on CBS News, but we're also listening in to find out the latest developments there.
Just a somber day all across the country. As we know, there were 64 souls on board the plane, 3 on the military helicopter. And right now they're saying, according to CBS News, 30 bodies have been recovered and they fear no survivors. You know, it's been a decade, and this is the deadliest crash for United States, U.S. airliner in more than 20 years. I think you got to go back to 2001, right after 9/11, the crash into the New York neighborhood, a takeoff there that killed more than 200 people. You've had crashes since then. We've claimed lives, but I think this is the deadliest since then. And it's going to grab a lot of attention because you think about, I mean, it's our nation's capital and the lives lost, and there's a connection. Somebody's going to know somebody who knows somebody, and literally a connection, quite literally a connection out of Baton Rouge. Flights there all the time.
There was supposed to be a flight there departing out of BTR to head to D.C. in about 6 minutes here, 6-7 minutes. That's been canceled there because of that ground stop in D.C. And that's at least until 11 a.m. But we've already seen on BTR's website there was supposed to be a flight, an American Airlines flight from D.C. to Baton Rouge, arriving at 10:20 tonight. That has now been canceled as well.
Man, the impact. For those who don't know, Reagan National, closer to the nation's capital than Dulles. Maybe you've flown into Dulles. Reagan's a little bit more specific, a little bit more targeted airport. It's harder to get those direct flights in. It's just south of our nation's capital, right there along the Potomac. It's actually in Virginia, but the capital stretches right there. It's across kind of the river from the Jefferson Memorial. But it gets a lot of attention, gets a lot of major flights. This one coming in from Wichita, Kansas.
That's it. So we're still following a lot of those developments here. But as we mentioned at the top of the hour, CBS News confirms from officials there as they have their press conference that this is now shifted to no longer recovery. That's what it is at this point in time. There's still a lot to follow here as investigators have been on the scene since about 8 p.m. Central Time last night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You're looking at, I believe, Jared, this is a Sky 9 shot from our network?
Yeah, this is one of our Sky 9 cameras. We have a couple of them in the D.C. area. This is what they call the wharf at the vantage point of the Potomac River, as Matt was just mentioning. And even if there were any survivors that fell into the river, the water is just ice cold over there. And of course, hypothermia would set in. So it makes a lot of sense that you guys mentioned it's no longer a rescue and recovery, but just a recovery at this point. And yeah, what you're looking at is a little bit of wreckage there too. They've been circling around for the past couple of hours, and you still see all the responders there as well. Just a tragic situation.
Golly, when you think about the depth too, I was listening earlier this morning from their 12:30 press conference last night. So if you look at the Potomac, I was looking at the topography maps there. Parts of it can be, the average depth is about 24 feet, but this stretch here where they're looking, it's about 8 feet deep. But you talk about the conditions, it's freezing. The water is freezing there. The depths change depending on where you go. They're trying to search through the debris. They're trying to figure out so much right now. There are so many different agencies involved, and still, this is a large task at hand.
Yeah, and the other problem is everything happened at night, so there's already very limited visibility out there. So they didn't have any assistance, didn't make it any easier. Now that the lights are up, I think it's making it a little easier for them to see what's out there, and that's why they're starting to recover a little bit more, and that's probably going to continue to be the case.
It's just, you know, it's not something that air travel in the United States is ridiculously good. Something like this is very, very rare. You can find the stories you can find that reality for yourself and look at the numbers. So when this happens, it takes you aback, and then you start to think. We've heard from some folks already saying, you know what, these are those moments where you just, you know, hug your loved ones, hold onto that hand, maybe a little bit longer. If you tell them you love them. Don't pass up those opportunities ever. And so we'll continue to follow this very, very difficult story on a Thursday morning.
And they're still early on in the investigation.
Yes,
There's still so much more to go today. So we're going to follow that for you. Still listening in on that live press conference there happening in D.C. But in the meantime, we, of course, want to get a check of our local forecast, our local traffic, things that are happening in and around South Louisiana, because it's still a busy day for us. We're talking about the storm chances for tonight. And I know folks going to bed last night, Jared, Steve left them with the thought of, could we deal with possibly severe weather Thursday into Friday?
Yeah, and that's going to be a possibility. It's something that we need to keep an eye on, and we're definitely doing that. We were really warm yesterday, getting up to 78. We're expected to be even warmer today, getting up to around 80. So in the afternoon, we warm up. We're humid, muggy, and we're going to be breezy. You won't need the jacket for today, starting off warm. A little bit of fog out there. We've got a couple of dense fog advisories to the eastern part of the viewing area, but I think we're okay here in the Baton Rouge area. But again, mid to upper 60s all across the board, and our low temperatures didn't get much lower than that. Starting to see the Pacific front, take shape over in Texas. You can see that line, a broken, busted squall line that's starting to form out to the west. Now, the bad news is it's still going to hold on to its form when it moves into Baton Rouge overnight tonight. The good news is once it continues its eastward progression, by the time it makes it out to the eastern part of our viewing area to New Orleans, it looks like it is going to weaken. So today we're going to hang on mostly mostly cloudy skies, and there you see the very warm highs around 80 degrees. The timing of the front, the timing of the storms looks like it's going to be right around midnight tonight. This is actually 12:30 in the morning, and you see the thunderstorms are right on top of the Baton Rouge area. Then by the time we get to 2:30, it starts to move out. By 5 a.m., it's already in the eastern part of the viewing area, so by this time tomorrow, we should be improving and looking a little bit better. Baton Rouge is still in a level 1 marginal risk, but not too far away. To the west and the northwest is that level 2. And again, that's going to be between 9 p.m. tonight through about 4 a.m. Friday. Now, that doesn't mean that after 4 a.m. the rain's necessarily over, but it means the severe weather threat will come to an end. And we're sticking to the story that the flood risk is a 0 threat because of the speed of the front. Now, the tornadic activity is going to be limited. Matter of fact, I would be surprised if we saw that much out there, but it's not a 0 threat. It is low and limited, so we do have to keep an eye on that. Whatever rain that we get between this system and beyond in the next 7 days is going to be light as well. Forecast for today, no jacket necessary, and it's actually a decreasing chance of showers, mainly at or below 20%. I think we'll actually get a little bit of sunshine in the afternoon, just like we did yesterday, but then obviously as we get into the evening forecast, it's going to be a steadily increasing chance of showers and storms. Notice hour by hour we keep going up, and by the time we get to midnight and after midnight, it approaches 100%. Another mild and muggy night with lows still being in the 60s. Once we get rid of the pre-dawn showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, by Friday afternoon we should at least have a partial clearing, if not a little bit more than that, and we're looking great over the weekend. Temperatures in the 70s, very low humidity, and the rest of the 10-day forecast, small rain chances at the end of the 10-day, but we look to stay warm in the 10-day forecast and even beyond that point. It is now 7:10. Tico Fox has a look at your roads.
Thanks a lot, Jerry. Good morning, everyone. A very slow start to your Thursday morning, but do keep in mind as you head out, there's a report of an accident, Greenwell Springs Road, right near Choctaw, so keep that in mind. Now, the good news, we have no major issues on your interstate systems, but you couldn't tell looking at these delays around 12 westbound. Here's a look around Range Grove. Those delays are starting to back up, approaching Range, and they're holding pretty consistent all the way out towards O'Neill Lane, as you can see here. Medium to heavy volume as commuters make their way towards Airline Highway. You get a little relief around Airline, closer to the 10-12 split, and if you're continuing west on 10 into the downtown area, not a bad look there. Expect around a 30-minute drive from Jubin to the 10-12 split on this Thursday morning. We'll be right back.
Folks, we'll keep you in the know all morning long. The big headline out of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., a mid-air collision between a passenger plane and a military helicopter. 67 people in total, all souls on board. Liz, it's gone from a rescue to a recovery now.
And that's from the officials there in the D.C. metro area. They have 300 different first responders working. Is what they're calling a touch and feel operation as they continue to move and shift here now to a recovery mission here. We're going to keep up with you here and let you know the latest, including the flight statuses. We're still tracking that flight cancellation, the one that was supposed to depart to D.C. at 7:11 this morning. That's been canceled. The flight arriving to Baton Rouge from D.C. later tonight, that has also been canceled as well.
Let's get you back into South Louisiana. Livingston Parish wants to make sure that they're looking for somebody. They want to put your eyes on her. They're searching right now for 40-year-old Rachel Brandon.
So please take a good look here. Her family reported her missing earlier this week. They've last seen actually January 6th. If you think you've seen her, she was last seen in the Livingston area at the Big Boss Travel Plaza in the town of Livingston here. If you're looking for a specific description of what she was last wearing, that blue suitcase with the red trim she was carrying, please share that story on social media. And of course, call police if you think you've seen her.
Real quick, let's get you into Ascension Parish. Got some offices closing early today because they're celebrating, a length of service award ceremony. It's the first time they've ever done this. A number of offices closing early, but that doesn't include things like the waterworks and the jail.
Of course, the sheriff's office will also be existing, so you can still call the authorities. But recognizing the good work happening in Ascension Parish.
Okay, again, as mentioned, the top story is going to be what's coming out of Washington, D.C. right now. The very latest all morning long from 9 News and, of course, our partners at CBS News.
Following all of it for you, including that forecast, Jared. We haven't heard much rain here over Channel 9 in the Baton Rouge area, but that could change throughout the day.
Well, the rain chances for today are relatively limited, but they'll go up for tonight as the cold front approaches. So, again, keep that WAFB weather app ready to rock and roll and keep it here to Channel 9.
That's it. All right. We still have more to come. More traffic and weather updates to come throughout the hour. We'll see you in 10 minutes.
From the sportiness of the Mazda MX-5 to the engaging ride of the Mazda CX-5 to the luxury of the Mazda CX-90. Move and be moved in your new Mazda while saving thousands at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.